Welcome to Northwest Profiles, a look at people, places, and events of interest in the inland Northwest.
This dance performance is not taking place on a stage, but in a lobby. In fact, the lobby itself is sharing the spotlight with the dancers. The choreography utilizes the surfaces and lighting conditions of the room. This dance can only be performed at this specific site, and so it's called a site-specific dance.
Site-specific is just what it sounds. It means that the dance takes as its inspiration the place. You know, often dances have some source for their movement ideas, and the most common is music. Also, sometimes people use stories. Any number of things can be used as a source for the movement ideas. In the case of site-specific dance, the source for the movement ideas is the place itself.
Many locations offer interesting possibilities to site-specific choreographers, dancers, and audiences. A site may be uneven rather than flat. It could be outdoors, high above the ground, or in a place that would normally be off-limits.
The hope is to also put dance sort of out into the world a little more. You know, we feel that it's become a kind of cloistered art form that has kind of segregated the audience from the performers. The performers are these highly trained, you know, individuals, and the audience are people who come and pay to see it, and they sit very quietly in the dark and watch those people in the light down there. And there was a time when everyone danced, and you danced outdoors, and you danced for different social occasions and different ritual occasions. And so we're interested in trying to break down some of the barriers between the audience and the performers and get it back into our lives in a more integrated way.
One of the wonderful things about a site-specific dance is that the audience may come specially to see the piece, but it may also involve people who are just passing by who didn't intend to see a dance performance, and maybe who have never been to a dance performance in their lives. It's exposing people who wouldn't normally have a chance to see dance.
Karen Kaufman teaches dance at the University of Montana, as well as teaching creative movement for children and beginning modern dance for people with disabilities.
I really enjoy bringing dance to people who are not going to be professionals or and who might not have the opportunity to study dance classes. It's real important to me to make dance available to all people of all ages and all abilities.
Amy Ragsdale has danced in many companies internationally, particularly Laughing Stone, which performed in South Korea, and the Fred Benjamin Company in New York. After a number of visits to Montana, Amy decided to settle in Missoula.
I came for the reason that I think a lot of people come to Montana, ultimately, which is that it's such a great site. They come for the landscape and for what you can do here.
After living in Missoula for a while, both Amy and Karen were inspired to explore site-specific dance in the environment of Montana.
It's not really a trend right now in the American dance scene, but it's something that I think from our love of Montana and the spaces and places that surround us, that we've just been drawn to it.
That's one thing about working in a theater. I mean, if you work in a theater, you might as well be anywhere, you know? So it seems to me if I'm going to be here, then I'm going to do something that's in the place.
The dancers have to be pretty hardy and just be ready for anything.
Just trying to get over the edge. It's the worst part.
When you're choosing your dancers for some of these sites, you not only choose people who you think can do the kind of movement that you want, but also people who are going to be able to deal with some of these unusual places.
One of the tricks about doing site-specific work is that often the rehearsal conditions are a little bit dicey. So, for example, for High Anxiety, the piece on the wall, there were a number of mornings we were up there early in the morning and it was really frosty and very cold. And so the rehearsal process was fairly short and intense. I mean, in that case, it was about a month, 5 weeks of rehearsing 3 times a week. And it's not as much as we would like.
I think that once you start making dances in unusual sites, you start seeing the possibilities. You start looking at sites in all new and different ways, and you start realizing that, wow, that'd be a great place.
We'd like to make this event of the whole site-specific concert in which we collect a bunch of pieces together, an annual event that we continue to have. I'd like to get it a little further out than just the campus, so that it really does go into the rivers and canyons, and that's a more challenging problem in terms of how you get the audience there. But that's what I'd like to do.
If you have a topic for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington, 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.